Welcome, everyone, to episode 24 of the Cosme Reads. Yay! I'm
Hey,
here,
everybody.
Alan. Yep, and Will's here. Yep. Alondo is still in Viking land, doing his Viking tour, spreading his Skostank all over the Nordic peninsula, or maybe Denmark. I don't know. He's somewhere in Scandinavia.
It sounded good.
Finland. I don't know. Yeah, he's up in the great European north. So
I was going to say Nordic too.
I guess it's Nordic, right? Finland's still Nordic. It's not Scandinavia. I don't know. I get confused. My geography is a little lax. Someone can correct me, and I will continue to call it the wrong thing because I'm old and I don't learn new things now. So he'll be back next week. He was going to try to join us actually from Norway or Finland or Denmark or wherever he is, but he's on an airplane right now. So yeah. He'll be back next week. But yeah, Finland is Scandinavian too. Okay, I thought someone
Nordic.
Say that only Norway and Sweden were Scandinavian. Finland didn't count. Maybe I was wrong. I've been corrected both ways, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I do not know my geography. It's up there. It's cold, and they do really well at Winter Olympic sports. That's what I know.
That much is accurate.
That much is accurate. So, let's see. Announcements. So if you guys have been waiting for a new Wad of Fortune, unfortunately, we don't have a new one coming out. We finished season 2. We did all the playoffs. We had the championship. We've decided that we're not going to kick off Wad of Fortune again until January for season 2. Just to give us a little bit of break. And also we're doing a charity stream and in December and going to be doing Wad of Fortune, but kind of just a play round. Doesn't count towards anything. Kind of like a 0.5, halfway, 1.5, season 1.5. I don't know. But we're really far away from December. So I'll talk more about that when we get close. But we'll get there. And then we'll have all new contestants. We'll be back for Wad of Fortune, the Wheel of Time, Wheel of Fortune game show. It'll be lots of fun. JordanCon as well. Tickets are on sale. I'm actually have finally purchased tickets, so we'll be going. So I'm there. We'll be cosplaying actually a Mistborn character. So yeah, it'll be fun. My first time doing cosplay. I did a costume contest, so I'm looking forward to it. And any other announcements? I think that's it. Yeah, Alana's gonna come back. Yeah, that's all I got. It's been a busy weekend, man. I went pumpkin picking today with the kids. It's just always a whole lot of fun, running around pumpkin patch trying to pick out the biggest pumpkin you can find. While the kids were doing that, I was kind of hanging back and drinking pumpkin spice latte. How about you? You had a big football game. Big football games.
What was in that latte? I'm just curious. Anything? Just
pumpkin spice and coffee, unfortunately. Next week, we're going apple picking. I know it's the season. And there they have a cidery on site. So I will be drinking cider next weekend. And yeah.
Is that in Charlottesville by chance? Graves Mountain?
It's Carter's Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We had a big win today.
Unfortunately.
Commanders.
Unfortunately. I'm a Falcons fan, unfortunately.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. We had to give you your first loss at home, I guess. It came down to the wire. It was a good game. We needed it. But yeah, I did that and I got caught up on some work today while watching football yesterday. I did absolutely nothing but play Counter-Strike 2, if anyone is a gamer here.
Yeah.
I used to play 1.6 years ago and I'm back into Counter-Strike, so that was fun.
Okay.
Luxury of not having kids. So
yeah.
Friday night, I went and shot some pistols with a friend of mine who invited me to go shoot his guns because he needed to shoot some ammo that he didn't need anymore. and then we went to a brewery and drank some beers and went out to dinner.
That order, right? You shot and then got drunk, right? Then go drunk and then go shooting, because that's.
I wanted to go to the brewery first, but apparently that's frowned upon. So
we did that. Well, I had a friend of mine who got married, and for his bachelor party, he did an ATF party, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, in reverse order. So we went to the shooting range first, and then we went to a cigar bar. And had dinner and went to the cigar bar, and then we went out drinking. So it was an ATF party, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, but reverse. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I had a shirt that used to say ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and then it said, "Who's bringing the drugs?"
Nice.
Yeah.
Shirt. Yeah. That's fun. But yeah, so that's sounds like you had a fun weekend. My weekend are all picking produce at this point, so that's the next few weeks, and then
it's a good season for that. It's a good season for that.
Tis the season. So, without further ado, how about we jump right into this wonderful? Oh, also, I did finish Brandon Sando's newest book that just came out on the 10th. So I finished it in less than 5 days. So, yeah, I erased through that. It was good. Sunlit Man, which I was reading it in preparation of where we're going to fit it in when we read it, and we won't read that one until we read everything else, because it's like everything rolled into one. And I'm not going to spoil anything else, because if you haven't read it, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I will be doing a review on our channel of that book eventually. I know I don't normally do book reviews. I might actually start doing those. So look forward to that. I'm actually going to do a book review on it. But yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. So anyways, unlike his other secret projects you can read whenever you want, and we can kind of plug those in on this podcast between books or whatever. This one's a in-game type. Not necessarily in-game. It's just it won't make any sense at all if you haven't read a lot of Cosmere. Yeah, you still need to read Yumi. Yeah, Yumi the Nightmare Painter. That was fun. I enjoyed it. It was actually of the 3 Cosmere secret projects. Sorry, 7-Eleven. Anyone listening to the podcast just said he still hasn't read Yumi. It was my least favorite of the 3 Cosmere ones. I have not read the Frugal Wizard's Guide to Medieval Europe, which is not Cosmere, but it's Brandon Sanderson. But maybe I'll read it eventually. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Brandon Sanderson writes faster than I can read now. Yes, that is true. He does write fast. So,
in case anyone's wondering, drinks for tonight.
Yes.
I'm drinking a Fresca with Tower vodka. It's a new vodka that we're trying.
Okay,
it's good. Got a bottle of wine to back it up when I'm done with this one.
Pythos is drinking.
Ooh.
A Bookman daiquiri, split base of Probitas rum. Thank you, and Pierre for around cognac, lime juice, and cinnamon syrup. Okay,
fancy. Never disappoint.
I'm drinking
water.
I'm drinking Be Easy American Wheat Ale. It's just like a Hefeweizen. So it's a Hefe. It's a wheat beer. It's all I had in the fridge left. Like, I don't like wheat beers, but it's the only thing I had left. So, and I could go mix a drink. I just didn't have time. So I just grabbed 2 beers.
Cheers, y'all.
Yeah, there we go. So chapter 28. Let's go. So we start with Tendril. And I guess where we left off last time, let's do a recap. Last time we ended with Elend being deposed. So we start off with Tendril just being like, you're an idiot. You formed this government and you put a clause in there where they can just depose you. Like, the whole point of being king is absolute power. Like I understand the General Assembly. I get that. Get advisors. Cool. Even elected advisors. Cool. But what were you thinking? Like,
she's laying into him. Just tearing him apart.
Yeah. Like you left it out for them to depose you? Like, what Yeah.
Which, like, I have thoughts on that. He's obviously very learned when it comes to running a city,
Mhm.
but there's half of me that says, okay, you have practical knowledge, or you don't have practical knowledge. You have knowledge that you haven't put into place yet and seen the outcome.
Right.
But I also, the other half of me is he smart enough to know the outcome most of the time when you do put things into place? So I'm like,
Yeah.
this could either go really good or really bad. So
Plus, introducing democracy to a populace that has never even heard of democracy is always a little bit a weird experiment. It failed with the Greeks. It failed with the Romans. It lasted for a while, but it's now somewhat working with the Western world. um, but it's been a long, many centuries of this form of government. But this has been millennium of dictatorship and total, um, um, you know, autonomous ruler, one
yeah,
ruler, the same guy. So for our populace to kind of accept a democracy right away, it's a big jump.
it's a big risk. It's a big
It's
risk.
a big risk. Yeah,
So we'll see how
yeah,
that plays out.
yeah. And you've already seen grumblings amongst like people about they wish the Lord Rulers back and that kind of stuff. And that was in previous chapters and things like that when they're especially in the countryside. So, but yeah, so he's deposed. Jindal's laying into him, and he's kind of like defending himself. He's like, I did it on purpose. I wanted to be able to have peaceful, if there's a bad ruler, being able to, peacefully transition without bloodshed, um, and not have it. So, it's just one of those things where you get a bad ruler in there and you're stuck with them because it's the king. Like, so he idealistic. That's why he created his government the way he did.
Well, it's like it's idealistic, but it's also pessimistic because he's like, if I'm a bad ruler, at least you won't have to deal with me for long. Like, it's easy to get caught up in that, but looking from the outside in, if it were me, I would say, nope, I'm the ruler. This is what we're going to go forward with. And like, I wouldn't be an autonomous ruler. I'd say, this is what we got. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
I appreciate his notion, but a lot of people I don't think would appreciate that. So,
yeah. Yep. So, obviously, like I said, Tindwell is leading, or what is it? Laying into him, just saying he's an idiot, calling him an idiot over and over again. And they finally start to just go around. Okay, at least we need to make a plan, and they're still calling him Your Majesty, which is, I guess nice that there's the crew is still viewing him as king, but they're trying to figure out how can they get him back in, how can they right what's wrong, and all that stuff, and they start coming up with somewhat of a plan. So kind of the rest of the chapter is just a lot of dialogue around that.
yeah, Ham comes in and is like, so the assembly tried to kick you out. What are we going to do about it? To shift the conversation from, I can't believe you're such an idiot for making these laws. It's now like, okay, whatever. We got to move forward. What are we going to do about it? And
Right.
Talk about we need a response. We need a decree for the deceitful maneuver. It's obvious that they arranged this meeting so you couldn't be present and defend yourself.
Right.
Like, yeah, very true. And then Elend kind of comes up with like a rough plan. We're going to respond. Right. Docs write a letter, tell the assembly disappointment, feelings of betrayal, tell them our success with Straff, lay the guilt on as thickly as possible. And it's like,
right.
Okay, so we've got a plan moving forward.
Yeah. And they even suggest a few things out there. I think clubs and Tindrell actually urge Ellen to use martial law. Like, just roll in there and be like, yeah, martial law. We're gonna. And he's like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not just gonna like do that.
Use your armies.
Use your armies, which that's kind of the go-to with a lot of people when they get deposed. Is use the military. Military dictatorships are a thing. They even bring up, hey, this is probably the worst time possible. There's two armies and a Koloss army coming, at their doorstep, and a change in power is the worst time possible. Um, and Ellen's going to try to go through and kind of look through the laws that he wrote, because he wrote a lot of them, and figure out, is there loopholes, or what kind of ways can he legally regain the throne. So, yeah.
Yeah, he Alan also talks about how coincidental that as soon as all the armies show up in the Koloss army, he gets deposed. So there's this notion of, someone on the inside is connected to the outside.
Right.
Which I think is pretty obvious at this point. They've already talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't have any other notes in that section.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit towards the end here about, we're talking about Vin. I guess there's the last little part. Because this said something about Vin being tired. It's like Vin doesn't get tired, and starts talking and basically telling him, Tendril says, she refused to marry you because she doesn't think you're that she's worthy of you, and that's nonsense. Vin's a mistborn. She knows she's worth 10 men like me. And Tendril says, you understand very little about women. He's like, well, how do you know anything about this? He's like, well, I've raised many daughters. Daughters? How many children do you have? We find out later about that, but she has a lot of kids.
Yeah, in this section, Tindwell also brings up the point that whenever she asks about his dad, Lord Straff, that Elend seems to bring up Vin,
right.
Which I thought was kind of an interesting point. And like when you look into that deeper, it's as if Elend looks to Vin as two things when thinking about his dad. Is one is protection, but also the love that he didn't get from his father.
Sure.
So it's like when you're in a relationship, right? What do you want? You want protection, you want love. But in this instance, when you've got two armies and a Koloss group coming towards you, you're in a pickle because you really can't have both. If you love her, but you want her to protect you, that means she's going to have to go out and be at risk of dying, right? So I kind of thought maybe Tyndall is in a really roundabout way trying to help Elend realize this. Say, look, you can either like love her or you can use her to protect you. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing that she brought up, because it seems accurate. Whenever she's talking about Straff, Vin seems to come up. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Because she's what's the exact quote? Is I just had it here. Something about whenever I mention Lord Venture. Oh, I asked you about the success of Lord Venture this evening, and all you want to do is talk about how Vin felt during the ride home. Because you're talking about how he's distracted by her, and which is more important to you, Your Majesty? This girl's love or the good of your people?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So interesting. So and that's how we finish this chapter. It's it's not a whole lot. It's basically just Tendril tearing Elend a new one, and then them trying to pick up the pieces. Not a lot else happens in this chapter. There's a lot of dialogue, but that's kind of the gist of it, at least for me. There's something we missed that.
I mean, they're coming out of the big meeting with Straff, where Vin is using Allomancy on Straff outside of the tent, and they kind of leave with a big head saying, "Yeah, we threatened Lord Straff. Like, we have the upper hand now. Oh wait, we're getting ousted by the Assembly. Now we have to go deal with that." And so they're, like you said, picking up the pieces. Like, what do we do now? Because now we've got an internal conflict.
Yeah. Exactly. So, anything from all of this before we shift to the next chapter?
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. So, chapter 29, we're with Osir, the Khandra, and Ven at Keep Hastings. abandoned, and they're kind of on top of it, kind of looking over, and Asir just starts out saying like, "Hey, I've been around a lot of people, and I find that like sleep does help, right?" It's just like, I mean, I sleep. He's like, not really. It's like, you're brain pewter, aren't you? And she's like, yeah, I am. He goes, when's the last time you slept? And I think she's like 48 hours ago or something like that. It's like, yeah, that can't be healthy. Anyway, so Vin just burns pewter to stay awake and keep going. It's like, yeah, this can't be good for you. Yeah, sleep is a good thing. It's very important. As someone that suffers really badly from insomnia myself, actually, I've gotten much better as I've gotten older. Even when I started with Noah Reads, like just like 3 or 4 years ago, I was really bad with insomnia, and I've gotten really good at just going to sleep. Maybe it's just because I turned 40 and trying to like just like flip the switch, but yeah.
What is this?
Alan. Yeah, has a lot of Ascension ideas. No, I think he's enjoying his vacation with his wife.
Yeah, it's like borderline drug like addict feels. So yeah, she's almost like so stressed out about playing defense against like Zane and assassins against Elend that she's like not sleeping and using pewter as a crutch.
Right. Yeah. And she's at the place where she last sparred with Zane, almost like kind of waiting for him. And he's not coming. But yeah, her and Arcere have this nice little conversation, mostly about mists and things like that. And about the body, about being a dog, more about just Conjure in general. Yeah.
I had nothing with this chapter. It was like one of those they keep having these rooftop meetings with Osir and Ven.
Yeah.
That are quasi interesting, quasi might be a stretch. I just noticed the part where Osir's like, "Is that old meat still there? Because I'm hungry."
Yeah.
You mean like rotten meat? He's like, aged. It's aged meat.
Aged meat. Like wine and cheese. It's good, but it's aged a little bit. You get the little mold. I had a sailing coach when I was younger that used to always tell us that the breakfast of champions is warm beer and cold pizza. The next morning, just get some beers that sat out overnight and just hungover, the best hungover food. Just crack open a light beer that has been kind of lukewarm or sitting up in room temperature, and cold pizza's been sitting on the counter, the mold's just barely crusting over it. Just it's gross.
Just keep it going. Just keep it going.
Just keep it going. Hair of the dog. Yeah. Hair of the dog.
If you haven't done that, you haven't lived, right?
I think any college student that went to any kind of college that has any kind of party atmosphere has at least tried that once, where you wake up in the morning, you may only take one sip, but you definitely crack one first thing in the morning, like, oh, this is gross. Never mind.
Or you're like me and you enjoy it and
there you go.
And the party never stops.
Yeah. Sounds good. The party never stops. Just keep going. Exactly. Yeah. Now, racing sailboats, that was always I switched to Bloody Marys now. So that's what I do in the morning. I don't do beer in the morning. I'll do a Bloody Mary. And then I'll start drinking beer like at 9 a.m. But 7 before 9, it's Bloody Marys. And then you switch over to beer.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Get a little more classy. The
end of the chapter was like the most profound for me. Literally the last paragraph of the chapter.
Yeah.
When Vin's like, "Oh, wait, I think I know what the deepness is."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now we're getting somewhere." Next chapter.
She looks over. I guess the sun's rising, and she realizes that the mist is not going away like it normally does, and it's still like hanging on there. And she's like, "I think I know what the deepness is."
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Do you think that's what the deepness is? Are you agreeing with Vin at this point?
What?
That the mist? I mean, she talks about the next chapter.
Yeah. I think the mist is related, or the deepness is related to the mist.
Okay.
But I mean, what exactly it is, I have thoughts. There's more on that later, though, so I'll share them when we get there.
Yeah, when we get there. Okay. Fair enough. This is like literally a 3-page chapter, 29. So there's not much else that happens. Does actually offer Osir a body to change as well. Says, hey, if you're sick of being a dog, we do have a regular body. You know, he actually refuses. He's like, no, I'm good. I'll stay a dog. He's gotten used to being a dog.
He like yawns and does the dog yawn, where he like licks his mouth at the same time. Like, is he like actually becoming like more canine? He's like, where's that aged meat?
Where's the aged meat? That stuff's good. Gross. All right, chapter 30. This is where we, probably where we start getting some really good, juicy details. So we start out with just readings from the rubbings. So I write this to record now, says it reads. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's like a whole 2 pages of it. But just really interesting here, like because we know he took a rubbing, but we didn't actually know what it said at the time. This is him actually reflecting on it. Was a lot more than just a simple plaque with like a couple of words. I mean, it's like a whole book. But just talks about, how he found Elend and, afraid of the deepness and all this other stuff, and how he had called him the hero of ages and convinced everybody else he was the hero of ages, but no one believed him. And then, convinced Elend, and then Elend, once he was convinced himself, he did his own convincing, and learned that he was a world bringer. But it ends with, let this be known, I, Quan, the world bringer of Terrace, am a fraud. So basically saying, yeah, I named this guy the hero of ages, but he wasn't. At least that's what I got out of it. At least this guy Quan thought he wasn't.
Yeah, it was a lot of the first bits of the chapter before it actually starts. Is a lot of the journal entries.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like combined into one.
Right.
But the main thing I took away was like there's a relationship between the world bringers and the terracemen. That world bringers are keepers themselves, but they're like a different branch of keepers.
Sure.
And then the actual keepers are like underneath world bringers, but they're very knowledgeable people that I guess are supposed to be going around with this knowledge, helping the world be a better place, something like that. I still don't know who the hell Elend is or Quan. I haven't put that together. If Alando was here, he'd probably have more to say. But
well, I mean, he tells you Quan's the one who discovered Elend, and Elend was the hero of ages. So it wasn't Rashik. Rashik was the Pac-Man. So we have 3 people. You have Quan, Rashik, and Elend. Elend was the one that was supposed to go to the Well of Ascension. We know that Rashik killed, or at least took Elend's place in the Well of Ascension. And this Quan guy, we don't really know much about except that he named him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking says it. Coming in with a clutch.
Yeah.
It's really valuable information.
It is. And Sazed's like super excited about it because Sazed loves research.
Yeah, I mean, it like the first journal that they got from I forget the name of it in the first book. That information was valuable, but I feel like this is much higher level information that I feel like is even more valuable. And it's funny that it's like etched on a piece of paper that like is really easily destroyed and it's very fragile. So I don't really know what to make of it other than you've got names, you've got actions that took place, and the hero of ages bit seems relatable to how Vin is kind of coming up,
Yeah.
even though she doesn't realize how important she is at this point.
Right.
So,
Okay. Also during this, Seiza starts to think about how Tendril must be very annoyed with him. Starts thinking about Tendril. And apparently with all these rubbins, there's 20 pages total, which is a lot, at least to me, because he says they crams a lot. Yeah, he had said like he was pretty amazed by the writing of Quan and how he managed to cram so much in a relatively small sheet of steel. But yeah. And as he's sitting there, the windows shutters rattle, and Caesar looks up, and there's Vin. She's like, "Oh, hi." Yeah. And she says, "Yeah, you should leave your windows unlatched. It's hard for me to get in when it's locked." She's like, "What?" And she's like, "Okay, I'll remember that for next time, then."
He's like, Elend got mad at me for breaking so many latches.
Yeah, exactly. And she immediately walks over, is like, "What's this?" and picks up the paper and starts to read through it. And so he's like, "Stop! You're gonna smudge it. Don't mess it up." She's like, "Ooh, there's stuff about the deepness in here." And she gets really excited and says like, "Yeah, there's other things too. Like, who cares about the deepness?" And she's like, "Well, I do, because I think I discovered what the deepness is." And
that's when it gets juicy.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the deepness?
What'd you say? Zul said not on metal.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
What?
I think Zul said that when I was talking about how the etching was on a piece of paper that's very fragile and not on metal. So they etched this on metal because well, but like when it was actually inscribed on the piece of metal,
right?
They did that because it's going to be preserved. It's much more likely to last through time. So the people who etched it onto the metal, at least what I think, thought it was very profound, right? Took the time to do that, because it takes a lot of time to etch something into stone or metal or whatever hard surface it is. So I thought that was an interesting comment, because now it's on this little piece of parchment that says it.
That he rubbed,
rubbed, right? It's like, dude, you got to get that. You got to make a copy, multiple copies, save that to a PDF, dog.
Exactly.
Scan that shit in.
New drink coming in. So take a pause for that. It's called a dumpster fire. I've met some of those before. Fire, Scotch.
How do you say that? An S and an F. How do you do that?
I don't know. Amara. Malort, ginger syrup, gum syrup, and orange bitters. Okay. Sounds interesting.
Or does it?
I'll try it. I'll try anything twice.
Do you light it on fire? Like, where's the fire?
Ooh. Is there anything in there like fire, like that is high enough proof to fight fire? Sounds awful.
You drink it out of a dumpster.
Yeah, I'm curious now. So Vin goes back and frowns, says, "What's the deepness?" And he starts going to all the different. It's like, "Oh, well, there's been lots of theories over the, no one really knows, And she says, "Well, I have a theory," and he's like, "Okay, what's that?" And she's like, "It's the mist." She's like, "Oh yeah, that theory's been proposed before," and she's like, "Oh man, I thought I was being original." He's like, "No, but we kind of just like threw it out because the deepness like did a bunch of harm. The mist doesn't do anything." He's like, "But it is now," and he's like, "Good point, Vin. It is."
This gets to what you were asking about my thoughts on the deepness earlier. I'll get to it now, because I've said this before. When Vin says later to Sazed, you yourself said that you think we did something that changed the mist when we killed the Lord Ruler.
Right.
And I think there's a strong connection between the Lord Ruler no longer living and the mist now killing people.
Right.
We don't know if it's the deepness, but
Right.
I mean, there's been a shift, and there's always been this deepness, and
Right.
that's what I think the deepness is. I think the deepness. I think the mist is some sort of, for lack of a better word, like paranormal being that is suppressed when certain powers are in power.
Sure.
I think kind of like how the Lord Ruler had, centuries for his what are what were his minions called that were soothing stations.
Oh, the soothing
right?
stations. Okay, yeah.
I think it's a similar thing, maybe that like not necessarily that he had soothing stations to control the mist, but I think there's something higher that the Lord Ruler is associated with that kept the mist at bay. So yeah, I think now it's like open world, no one's in control. The mist is now free to roam.
Okay. Yeah, and she brings it up like, we looked at this the wrong way. Maybe the deepness wasn't like an army or something you could actually fight. It was the mist itself and blocking the sun. If it came during the day, like no crops would grow, people would starve, and that would be catastrophic.
Yeah. They also talk about how like when they were fighting the mist, you can't fight mist. You can't stab or slice mist with a sword. Like, how do you combat that? So it's a very it's a weird enemy.
Yeah. But he never actually said the deepness actually attacked. He said they died because of it. And so she starts kind of being legalistic with the writing, saying like, well, because of this, I think it points to my theory. And, and Says is trying to hold her back. Like, this is not how proper research is done. like correlation does not equal causation. Basically, the old saying, just because something correlates doesn't mean it's the reason. There's lots of things that correlate in the world. It doesn't mean that's the reason. And the classic example is, and I know this go back to the 70s when marijuana was named a gateway drug. It was because they did a thing back in the 70s where they pulled heroin addicts who had been arrested for heroin in jails and asked them how many of them had tried marijuana before. And there was almost 100% of heroin. So they said, see, correlation. Do marijuana, you'll do heroin. But the flip side of that, it's a really crappy study. Like, to just ask that one question, because you could ask them like, how many of you guys had drank water? Oh, water causes heroin. I mean, there's a correlation. Doesn't mean causation at all. Like there's lots of things that correlate. It doesn't mean that's what causes it. So,
yeah. I don't have kids, and my hair is turning silver. So.
Well, I have kids.
You can't see it, but it's in here.
It's in there. Gotcha. Yeah. So anyway, he's just kind of like saying like, it may be, but then says, the mist isn't alive. And then she's like, well, they talked about the shadow thing that was following them and all the the logs and everything like that. I might have seen it a couple of times, and it's there. And she's like, you probably think I'm crazy now. And she's like, no, I don't. And
she's like, yeah, I've seen this thing. There's a thing that follows me, blah, blah, blah. And then it clicks and says it.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, really?
Yeah.
That was an interesting shift right there.
And but then she starts trying to point to the Hero of Ages. She's like, well, the Hero of Ages alone could see this thing, and I can see this thing. Maybe a new Hero of Ages has to come to save the day again, and maybe I'm the Hero of Ages. And it says like, I don't know. There's nothing in our prophecies or anything like that about that. So I don't, Says is kind of very hesitant about going down that road.
But that's where the road's going.
So do you think Vin is the Hero of Ages?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Cool. Awesome.
It's definitely not Spook. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, Spook. You don't think it's Spook? Wasn't hero?
Is it?
What was it? Wasn't here? Wasn't
Buzzing with the ages hero of?
Yeah, as a hero. Yeah, exactly. You know.
Yeah, no, I think yes. The pieces are starting to come together. This book is putting more of the puzzle pieces together. And then the third book is going to be, just total chaos.
The Hero of Ages. It's the third book's name.
What?
It's called The Hero of Ages. Yeah. And then they get into talking about Tendril a little bit. And this is when you learn that she actually was a breeder under the Lord Ruler and was forced to have a ton of kids.
Lots of babies
against her will. But she did it not necessarily voluntarily, but she was voluntold to do it because the people in the terrace knew that she was a feruchemist and the Lord Ruler didn't. And the whole reason for having the breeder program was to breed out ferucheme. So they would sneak in breeders that had these to keep the lines going.
So I that was a disturbing image, but like I hope that she had in the back of her head, knowing that she was keeping the ferucheme line alive, but yeah, I guess point of that was Sazed saying, don't judge her too hard because she's been through some shit. She's not all that bad. She may be hard on Elend for a reason because she wants the best she's seen the bad and she knows the good. So
right. Yeah. But had birthed over 20 children, each with a different father. Tendrils had her first child when she was 14 and spent her entire life pregnant. A lot of times bore twins and triplets because of the way the fertility drugs worked. So, and Vin's like, how would she do that? Like, I would have killed myself. And she's like, well, she's a keeper. So she understood the greater good and what she was doing. 20 kids. Yeah. Yeah. So 20 kids.
And she raised them too, right?
Yeah. That's a lot of kids.
Which is crazy. That's the antithesis of being a eunuch is you have a shit ton of kids and you raise them.
Yeah. I have 3 kids.
Probably by yourself.
Yeah. I have 3 and 3 was enough to make me have a surgery that makes me not able to have kids anymore. I was done. But yeah. Selective breeding for the win. Okay, this chat's getting dark.
Keep it coming. Keep the deepness.
How old is Tendril? Yeah, that's a good question. How old do you think Tendril is?
Well, if she has 20 kids, I would hope that she is at least 40.
Okay. Yeah. How old do you think Sazed is? They said Sazed's age, I think, at one point. He's up there. But anyway. And said, but basically they said you're not the only one that had, a terrible childhood or a terrible upbringing. Tendril's probably perhaps the strongest woman I know. And explains, the whole thing about how the Synod managed to get Tendril chosen into the program so she could keep the ferucheme going. And we end with Sazed telling Vin to go to sleep because she needs to sleep.
How messed up would it be if Sazed and Tendril were in love and then they got separated and Sazed became a eunuch while Tendril became a breeder?
That'd be tragic.
I think it's a thing.
Okay. Put that in the prediction column.
Yeah. Put it on the bingo card.
Put on the bingo card for, well, we already done it for this book. Do you think it's the next book prediction?
Put in my mental bingo card.
Put in the mental bingo card. There you go. Yeah. And we also learned that Sazed was always a rebel, even before Kelsier. He's always been a rebel. He's a rebel. I just think
He
of,
was anti-Lord Ruler before
before
the
Ghost.
Ascension.
Yeah. Well, no, he was not that old. He's not 3,000 years old.
You know
Before
what I
Kel.
mean.
Before Kel. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
He was born anti-Lord Ruler.
I was trying to sound smart.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I get the impression she's in her late 40s, early 50s, but I may be way off. Yeah, I don't know. I can go probably find it somewhere, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm sure somewhere there's a note or interview where someone's asked Brando Sando, and he said, but maybe not. Or I could ask, maybe next Jordan Con I'll ask the Cosmere lore keeper. I can't remember her name, but she's there at Jordan Con every year, and she keeps all the lore.
I need a T-shirt.
Yeah.
How old is Tyndall?
How
and I'll
old
wear
is
it.
Tyndall? There you go. Yeah, you can ask a question, any question about the Cosmere, and you get a cool ribbon for it. So
Wow, Seven and Skeeter just said the same thing
before at the same time, awesome. Before it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how we end this chapter. Yeah. Any final thoughts about this before we move to the final chapter for tonight?
I just love Sazed. I love Sazed, and I love that Ven looks to Sazed as like, God, she looks to Sazed as she should. He's just such a wealth of knowledge, such a positive mentor, role model, whatever you want to call it. Just such a good person to have in your corner, and I love Sazed. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm now looking it up because it's going to bother me. Oh, oops.
What are you looking up?
How old Tyndall is?
History. We're just going to hit the Goog. Hit the Google.
I am. Don't do it.
I'll just play my recorder.
It doesn't say. Oh, nice. I was wondering when that's going to come back out.
It's always here. It's always
there.
I also have. This is technically a Piccolo, but I have a.
Yeah, in the brief article, I couldn't find it. Yeah. And Tara loves Sazed too. Yeah, Sazed's awesome. So we get to the political junkie chapter, of chapter 31, with Philin.
What a name!
Yeah,
Philin Frando.
Well, he used to just be Lin, but because now he's no longer Scar, he added a fight in front of it to be fancy.
His name was Lin.
Where's my misclick tonight? It's right here. So there's.
I love that you have it handy.
It's right next to me, along with my Steel Inquisitor axe. And it's not
never
cool.
seen that before.
Yeah, actually, it's I got it from.
Yo, careful! Don't hurt yourself.
I got it as a kid from the good old medieval times.
Whoa, that's cool.
I have lots of things handy. I think there's it's this little box. It's like full of things. I got like a sword here.
That's scimitar.
It's like, what does Alan have next to him? I just have a whole box of fun props. It's like Carrot Top over here. I just got props. Like,
keep your kids away from those. They could hurt themselves. They look sharp.
They're fun. Actually, the sword has a Sonic sticker on it because my kids have gotten to that one. That's plastic. It's okay. Alan has a spike. It's the spy confirmed. Yeah. Got secret disguises, all sorts of fun stuff over there. Every spy, every dark friend needs a box of goodies next to them. Yeah, when you're in danger, you gotta have an axe, a dueling cane, and a sword handy at all times, so you can defend myself.
And I'll be your
flute
musician to draw the enemies away.
There you go. Yeah. So Philin, who is not a Ska, but he was a Ska, but is now a rich merchant. He's kind of the asshole that was behind all of this to depose Elend. And he is a pretentious bitch. Sorry, part of my language, but that's how he comes across. But he is really, really good with the money. It says that, hey, even before when he was a Sky, he used to kind of wheel and deal. And even though he couldn't run the stuff himself, he could rub two pennies together and turn into $1 million like that. Just was really good with the swindling and negotiations and all that good stuff. And now that he's no longer a Sky, he's a merchant, he's able to do it on the open, and he's made a little small fortune and doesn't consider himself Scott anymore, considers himself more noble, even though the nobles all scoff at him. Like, anyway.
He doesn't make things with his hands. He sells what's made.
Yeah.
He's better.
Yeah, exactly. So, so he's going through and just talking just about, I guess, his plans. And, he's talking with Penrod. Just about everything that's happened. Where's Venture? I guess he's too scared to actually show up to our meeting. And they're trying to figure out what the next move is, what's going to happen. And finally wants to, he's hinting that he wants to position himself to be the next king. And finally, after waiting for a while for Elend to show up, and he hasn't showed up yet, he's like, all right, let's close the doors and let's get this show started. And as soon as he closes the doors and goes back down, the doors swing open, and in comes Elend with his entire entourage, including 2 terrorist people, which is shocking to them because the terrorist people quit being stewards once the Lord Ruler fell. And Elend has 2 in all the Kelsier crew. And, and I guess this was right when Phylon was about to go up to make a speech. Elend comes strolling in. Perfect timing.
This was a badass scene. Just seeing Elend walk in with his entourage. You could imagine doors burst open and everybody turns their heads and they're like, "Who the hell is? Oh my god! Wait, who are these people with Elend? Wait, what?"
Yeah.
That was cool. That was really cool. Because, I mean, this was the meeting that was supposed to declare a new power, right?
Right.
They were like, he's not here. This is great. Everything's going swimmingly. And Phylon's like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to go in. And then Elend walks in with his terrorist people, his Mistborn, and all of the people that were with Kelsier.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, whoa, this is a crew. This is a crew.
Yeah. And
slow motion music.
Yeah. And even Phylon thinks, hey, he's not king anymore. What's he doing? But Elend just straight up on stage, turns to people and he's like, Phylon, are you going to say something? And Phylon's just kind of flabbergasted, like, are you the Assembly Chancellor now? And they kind of like, Chancellor? And like, did you even read the laws I put in place? You deposed me. You read enough to get that much. Did you not realize that, like, when the king's deposed, you're supposed to set a chancellor right away? Like, what are you guys doing over here? Is this Bush League? This
is when the reading comes back into play. He knows his shit.
Yeah. And of course they're like, I suppose you're going to name yourself? No, Chancellor. He's like, no, I wouldn't do that. I need some, Penrod. Hey, you make a good Chancellor. You're the Chancellor now. You'll oversee the court. So I'll sit back down. Have at it. So.
And that's the one guy that before Elend walked in, Phylon was having a conversation with, like, before everybody came in.
Yeah.
And he was the one guy that was still defending Elend.
Right.
So it was like strategic.
Right.
And awesome.
And everyone pretty much, well, not everyone, but a lot of people vote for Penrod right away. They did the vote. It's like, yep, he's the new Chancellor. So, okay, let's keep going now. And of course, Penrod gets up there. Is like, well, did we have any business then? And Ellen's like, yeah, can I speak? Have some time? I want to give a report on my meeting with Straff. Like,
I got things. I got things to say.
I got things to say. Will 20 minutes be enough time? That should be. All right, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Yeah. And he goes through and he does a whole thing. He's like, yep, Straff's not going to attack. And they're like, how do you know that? He goes, because I threatened him. I was like, you threatened him? Like, how? I was like, I have a Mistborn. That's like, do you remember? She killed the Lord Ruler, guys. Like, Did you not remember any of this?
And she was trained by the survivor of Hathsin. Not only is she a Mistborn, she is the apprentice of the survivor of Hathsin.
Right. And after Lord Ruler killed the survivor of Hathsin in retribution, Vin went and killed Lord Ruler. And basically, his point was like, if Straff kills me, what do you think she's going to do?
Yep. Well played, sir. Well played.
Do you think Straff stands a chance? Yeah. So, and looks over the audience as well, realizes that Zane's in the audience. There's a bunch of characters, and even thinks there's probably spies here, and it's an interesting move just because he knows that this now will spread, and even if nothing else, this is going to cause anyone to double think orders now, especially walking in with the entire entourage of Kelsier's crew, like that. Hey, they're all behind me. Like, this was who overthrew the Lord Ruler, and they're all on my side. So, you want to mess with this? You want to do this? Yeah, and he's hoping that the news will reach back to Set and to Straff's army and everything. Yeah. So yeah, he finishes his speech, and they're like, "Is that it?" He's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I mean, aren't you going to say anything?" He's like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "But you were just deposed." Like, he's like, "Yeah, I was. So I wrote a letter saying I'm really upset about it. Do you have questions? I can answer them, but I don't need to go up here and beg you guys for my job back. It's just, I told you how I feel already. Like, why do I need to say anything more?" Like, do you guys not read? He's kind of being a little bit of an ass, but at the same time, doing it in a very, very sly and classy way. Kind of put in their place and realizing that they're all children. Like, they're not, they have no idea what they're doing. And he makes it really, really evident here, just through all these little things like this, like not being able to put a chancellor. And then everything sits down, Lord Penron's just like, I guess we're going to adjourn then. He's like, I mean, you're not going to call for nominations? Like, did you not read the laws? Like, that's the next thing you have to do, or are you just going to let the month lapse? Because you didn't read the contract. The month lapse, it's up to the king. I'm king again. So that's like, guys are idiots. Come on. Like, call for nominations.
Mic drop.
Yeah. So Lord Rick Penrod calls for nominations. He's nominated first. And, Phylan thinks that, Phylan thinks that Elend's going to nominate himself. But he doesn't. He's like, no. So, yeah.
So they get to the nominations, and Elend sits down, and then immediately a Ska stands up and nominates Penrod.
Right.
Penrod's nominated, which was like expected.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost calculated. And then what's his name starts thinking about it, and he's like, I think it's Breeze, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's after it. Breeze starts thinking about it after Penrod stands up himself and nominates Elend.
Right.
And then Breeze goes, "Brilliant! Don't you see? This is political geniusy. Like, Penrod's a man of of morals, and the fact that Elend nominated him as chancellor, he would seem, less of noble of himself of not returning the favor. But then by him nominating Elend, it says, I don't really want the job." Like, it's just a brilliant political move.
Like, says, not only did Elend not have to nominate himself, which would have made him look desperate, but now everyone in the assembly thinks the man that they respect, the man they would probably choose as king, would rather have Elend hold the title.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Good old politics. Cue the music to House of Cards.
Oh, I love that show.
It's just
Love that show.
political maneuvering at its finest. And then, but at the same time, Vin keeps on thinking like, but what about the merchants? They have to have their own plan. Like, what's going on? Is finally going to nominate himself? And finally does stand up after like a very dramatic pause of waiting. Everybody's like, I guess this is it. And then he finally slowly rises to his feet. He goes, I have a nomination of my own. And they're like, what, you're going to nominate yourself? One of the assemblymen said, and he says, no, in fact, I'm not. He goes, I just want one point of clarification. Do they have to be on the assembly for me to nominate them? And Alan's like, no, the king doesn't have to be an assemblyman. In fact, that's written in the rules that they don't have to at all. Like they could be anywhere. The king was supposed to be hereditary, but I didn't expect the certain clauses to be invoked so quickly. He said, okay, well, if it could be anyone, I nominate Lord Ashweather Set to be our king. And immediately someone in the crowd removes their cloak, and it is Set just sitting there in the crowd. And Priest goes, oh dear, this is not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, that was surprising. I was talking to Tara about this earlier. It's like, holy shit, Set's in the audience, Zane's in the audience. Like, fucking anybody could be there now. Anyone could be in the city walls. Like, there's no protection. Zero protection.
Yeah.
So not only is it like a cause of alarm because they've now nominated an enemy to be king, it's like, dude, you guys have been doing nothing to keep people out.
Right.
Except for a small like skirmish that started. You're looking for obvious signs. You've got spies all up in this, you know what?
Yeah. Including one of your enemy's rulers sitting right there in the audience.
Yeah, that was a lot of juiciness.
Yeah. So kind of a mic drop moment at the very end, which causes a whole lot of issues now. Because now we have a 3-way ballot for kingship between Elend, Penrod, but now you have Set in there, which is throws a wrench into everything. Similar to what Breeze had said, you add a third army. Now someone has to form alliances to win over the vote. It's kind of a problem.
And people know Set. People know that name. Right. So they're probably they hadn't even considered it.
And they even said, someone that's used to ruling people, hey, he has experience. So yeah. Interesting. So. But
now you've got Straff, who is related to Elend.
Right.
So Straff's going to hear about this.
Mm-hmm.
And Straff is going to come down to Elend on his knees and ask for something. He is going to say, I can't have Set take ruler. I need something. I'm going to have to take a back step. I also just got kind of over-negotiated from Elend and Vin, who was soothing me from outside the tent. So I think now Ellen's going to get something from Strath. And potentially there's going to be a potential alliance formed.
Okay.
Something else is going to happen, though. I don't know what.
There's still a Koloss army.
Still a Koloss army. Something else is going to happen. I think maybe the Koloss army is going to come in through and just ransack Set and his entire army.
Maybe. Okay.
And Straff's going to, get too old and die or something.
Okay.
And then it's just going to be the Koloss army versus
Set
Elend. And Vin's going to leave and start a new city somewhere else. So
okay.
That's what's going to happen.
All right.
I wrote the book. I know. I wrote the book. So. Spoiler alert.
There you go. I love the theories. I love it. I think you nailed it. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
So
we can stop reading now because we have the entire plot for the rest of the book. So we'll start Hero of Ages next week.
Alando, if you're here, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I don't think you can hear us on a plane.
Oh no, we need you.
I love it though. I love it. I think there's a lot of good juicy predictions in there.
This was a good chapter. I really did
Yeah.
like this chapter though with the
Yeah.
assembly, because the assembly has been causing a lot of like back end angst, causing a lot of issues, but not really making appearances. So now Elend came in, reasserted his authority,
Right.
and it felt good. And then Seth
Right.
gets nominated, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I always said for this book, if you like political maneuverings, it's a fun book. If you like action, this is not going to be the most action-packed book, but it definitely has like, even last episode when we had the political maneuvers between Ellen and his father and Straff, and just the back and forth and the little nuances of politics. If you like that stuff, this book's fun. But that's where the fun comes to this book. Everything else is kind of not a whole lot of action. There's still action, but it's not the same level of action as the first book, where you have like battle scenes and stuff like that. At least not yet.
Who likes politics? I mean, come on.
Politics are boring.
It's necessary, though. It's a necessary evil. It's a necessary thing.
Yeah. So
was that a Clark Griswold reference, Skeeter? I have to ask.
Yep. Sure.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yep. So, any other thoughts or anything else you had in your notes, or anything you wanted to talk about from this chapter?
No. Really want to read more. Want to read more.
Oh, we can read the next 4 chapters since we're done. But then you have to stop and wait a week. It's up to you. So when you want to read those. But favorite character, go.
From this series of chapters, I think it's gonna have to be Elend.
Okay.
Yeah, Elend showing his maturity, walking into the assembly with a full white badass fucking garb. He really, I mean, like his diction, like his, control of that environment was pretty impressive. I mean, you got a lot of people watching, you got a lot of powers that be, a lot of influence there, and I think he handled it pretty well. I think he handled it really, really, really well, actually.
I think so too.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Elend. What about you, man?
I'll just say just kiss says.
That was my backup. Okay.
Anytime there's says or Breeze. Actually, no. Let me go with my boy Breeze.
Okay.
Just because Breeze did have a couple good lines in here, like brilliant. I just love Breeze's reaction to it too. I say this is easy, low hanging fruit, but Breeze was good. Plus, Breeze being the oh shit moment when Set's in the crowd, because Set wants to kill him.
Yeah,
because of the misunderstanding with his daughter, of course. That Breeze is totally not in a relationship with, but a misunderstanding, just a big misunderstanding. Big. Your wife asked, "Is Vin the hero of ages?" I think Will said yes, 100%. Full sense.
Yes, that's what I think. I think. Breeze definitely had some good lines, though. I was trying to find one in particular, but he's always got good lines.
Just brilliant. Yeah, him just yelling "brilliant" over and over again. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So,
by the way, Alan, for anyone who's interested, Alan showed his mist cloak, which may or may not be part of his costume at some point.
Yeah, it's part of cosplay. Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of what I envisioned Breeze to look like. So just maybe some similarities between Alan and Breeze. I don't know if anyone's ever thought that before, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, thank you, good sir.
Breeze vibes. Alan, you give a lot of Breeze vibes.
Oh, thank you, good sir. I'll tip my hat to you. I don't have a hat, but Imagine
Tip of the recorder to you as well.
Yeah, tip of my dueling cane. In my very brief fashion. Sounds good. Well, yeah, next week we'll be doing a full chapters. Faux again. So 32, 33, 34, 35. Alondo should be back for that, unless he's sick or something weird comes up. He'll be in country at least. But we'll get to see all the fallout of this meeting and maybe find out who's the king. I really should have got the Lion King for last week. The hyenas, no king, la 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 la. When that was deposed. Should have got that clip to play, but anyways.
You said don't play Kate Allen.
Yeah, don't give in to me. Just
it like wasn't a compliment. It wasn't a compliment.
It wasn't a compliment. Oh, damn you! He's breezing all the bad ways.
Yes. The second comment. There it is.
There you go. Or he deserves it. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Fun times. Yeah. So 4 chapters next week. We'll be back with the full crew, having a good time. I just said the quote before you said it. I think so. Yeah. No, everybody likes to bash me. It's okay. I enjoy it. Everybody's punching back. That's why I do a podcast. So so I can read negative reviews and everybody talk about how horrible I am.
Love you, dude.
I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep now. So how we can be
welcome
found?
back, insomnia.
Yeah. And now my stress levels have gone to a new peak and I hate myself. A kid, I'll just drink.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. So how you found us at thecosmereads.com. You find links to all sorts of cool stuff like our Discord, which is a shared Discord with a lot of podcasts. The Will Reads, the Little Feather Mountain podcast has a little spot there. The Cosmere Reads has a spot there. So find all sorts of cool stuff there. You can find links to all of our social medias. Twitter, really, or I guess X, whatever they call it these days. I still call it Twitter. And also ways to support us. We do have merchandise. Go check it out. Right now, it's just kind of the logo stuff. We will be adding more things eventually. But right now, that's what it is. It is what it is. And Patreon. Yeah, go support us that way. And Will, you have your hand up.
A really easy thing to do also is to just, if you're sitting on the couch and bored, go on our YouTube page and just like all of our videos. I did that the other day. It's really easy. So if you like what you see, we appreciate that too. Yeah, like and subscribe. All the algorithm things that help the algorithm gods that feed them so other people can find us. Commenting helps too, even if it's negative comments. Even if you don't like it, actually just interact. You can hit the dislike button too. Dislike it. Yeah. All that really helps the algorithm. In fact, if you get a ton of dislikes, it still gets pushed out everywhere. So it's just interactions. We appreciate everybody's interactions. Yeah. Just tell us how much you hate me. I just or me. Or Will, or Orlando. Yeah, we'll love it. It feeds the algorithm gods. If we get 1,000 subs, I'll write you a song on the recorder. Oh, 1,000 subs. Wait, are we recording still? Yes. 1,000 subs. We're pretty close to that. So that's not because this is a shared channel with the Will Reads. 706. 706 is that which we have right now? I look at it every day. Oh, you do? Okay, cool. So 1,000 subs, we'll get a song. And even Chessie, my dog, said, yeah. Chessie. Like so anyway, yeah. See our website now actually functional. Chessie approves. Chessie approves. All right. Until next time, guys. Eventually, I'll actually do an outro too. Scott Stank Fresh, something like that. Scott. Miss you, Londa.